Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agana Timirandasya. Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena. Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6. This chapter describes Narada Muni in his previous life and how he achieved perfection in his spiritual pursuit. This is also followed with the commentary of Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakur. We read that the young boy, who was the son of the maidservant, had gotten the opportunity to associate with very high-minded sadhus and received mantra from them. In the course of time, his mother passed away and he went on a pilgrimage to the north, traversing through many towns and villages and so forth. Then he had the vision of the Supreme Lord as he began his meditation and fell faint and then lost that vision. But then he heard the words of the Lord and said that you are not yet perfect in the chanting of your mantras. And so I just gave you my vision this one time for you to have that taste by which you will continue your practice. So we'll pick up with the last verse we were on. Having spoken this, the Lord, whose words are the highest proof, whose words appeared in the sky, who was not visible to my eyes, but who was capable of bestowing mercy upon this most fallen boy, the Lord then stopped speaking. Receiving his mercy, I lowered my head to the greatest of that great, the greatest of the great, meaning the Supreme Bhagavan, Mahabhagavan. Text continues. Giving up my shyness, I began to chant the names of that unlimited Lord, and to remember his most excellent hidden pastimes. I wandered the earth with satisfied mind, without material desires, without pride or selfishness, waiting for that time. Waiting for that time means, according to the commentary, when will that time come when I will become an associate of the Lord? I had no pride or selfishness, since I always thought, who is more fallen than myself? So with the deepest of humility, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that our perfection rests upon our own humility also, that one should become humbler than the blade of grass, is Mahaprabhu's expression, that one must become very humble, that I am most fallen, and I need the Lord's mercy to shine upon me, along with the spiritual master, the guru, and the gurus, and the Vaishnavas. Their mercy is everything to me. And by their mercy I will achieve perfection. And by the mercy of the mantra which they bestowed upon me, I will chant that sincerely. And thus, in due course of time, I will achieve my perfection. When will that time come? Bhaktivinoda Thakur expresses it, when, oh when will that day be mine? When will that time come when I will become an associate of the Lord? O Brahmana Vyas, now Narada is speaking to Vyas, concentrating only on Krishna, not attached to material enjoyment, remaining pure in mind, the time of receiving my spiritual body occurred simultaneously with that of giving up my material body, like lightning flashing simultaneously with lightning. So in due course of time, Narada says, I continued chanting as that young boy, giving up all desire for material enjoyment, remaining pure in mind, and that time came. In other words, time brings upon the demise of this body, but simultaneously I achieved my spiritual perfection because I received my spiritual body, my Siddha Deha, my spiritual body, the awakening of spiritual consciousness along with the body, that is appropriate for serving the Lord, especially in Golok Vrindavan, it all occurred simultaneously, giving up the material body and achieving the spiritual body. I woke up in the spiritual world, just like we see the story here of Gopakumar that's given to us by Sri Sanatana Goswami in his Srimad Bhagavatam 1.6.26-28. All of a sudden, he was doing his mantras in Vrindavan, and all of a sudden he started to hear the horns and the chattering of young boys, and he somehow was transferred into that spiritual abode of Vrindavan. He was in that, what we would call the manifest, or the world that we see as Vrindavan, but then entered into the unmanifest world of Vrindavan and saw the Lord and his associates. Just like that, that perfection can come. So the commentary is, at the time of dissolving my subtle body along with my gross body, that time, Kala, that I was waiting for expectantly for a long time, made its appearance. That is the meaning. It is like saying, the time when the king went was the time he arrived, leaving and entering, one room to another room. You step out of the kitchen and you enter into the temple room. You're there, now you're here. It's like a magic portal. Somehow or other, one is transferred from this material world into the spiritual world, as is the case of Gopakumar. He is there doing his mantras in Vrindavan, and all of a sudden he is in the eternal Dham, seeing Krishna like that. So the time when one leaves one room is the time when one arrives in another room. It is said that the intelligence, even when identified with the Lord completely, being non-different, still has the ability to make distinctions, but this case was different. Intelligence could not make a distinction. Suddenly, the two things, the disappearance of the material body and the attainment of the spiritual body, simultaneously made their appearance, connected closely like subject and predicate, simultaneously. Here he says, like lightning flashing simultaneously with the lightning. Simultaneously, just like for Gopakumar, the same situation. He's there chanting his mantras, and then all of a sudden, he's in the spiritual world. This happens, just like we were talking earlier, death and waking. Immediately, one finds oneself. That is the mercy of the Lord. He brings us to his own abode. We are here doing our sadhanas, doing our pujas and like that, and then somehow we find ourselves within that transcendental spiritual abode of the Lord. Simultaneously made their appearance, connecting closely like a subject and a predicate. An example is given. It is like the simultaneity of lightning with another flash of lightning, just as sometimes lightning appears at the same time as another flash of lightning. Similarly, at this exact time of giving up my material body, at that time I received my spiritual body and became an associate with the Lord. This occurred simultaneously. The verse goes on, having been awarded a transcendental body befitting an associate of the Lord, the body made of 5 material elements, along with its karmas relating to the present body, fell away. This all happened simultaneously. I was rewarded a transcendental body, a body which was fit for serving the Lord and be an associate of the Lord, while at the same time the body in which I was sitting in fell away. Made of 5 material elements, along with all the karmas that are related. The karma that made him the son of a maidservant. That is a type of karma. Why you are born in a particular family. The occurrences while you're within that family. He had Some karmas that his mother passed away early, but he had simultaneously had the association of great sadhus. So all of this was related to his past existence, but they all fell away simultaneously as he achieved that transcendental body. Commentary. The Lord previously promised, Hitva avyam imam lokam gunta mad junatam asi. Giving up this low body, you will become my associate. So the Lord told him that. You will become my associate. Giving up this body, you will then become my associate. At the time of being made to accept a body, which was Shuddha Sattvam, because it was not a material body, and because it belonged to the Lord, Bhagavatim, my body, Panchabhutaka, fell away. Panchabhutaka means made of 5 elements, fell away. And I possessed a body then which belonged to the Lord, which was the Lord's body, in that sense of that body which was appropriate for serving him. Giving up my material body and attaining a spiritual body were simultaneous, like the expression, I am walking while the cows are being milked. Two things can go on at the same time. The Lord's own words were, Hitva vadhyam imam lokam. The use of the verb form, hitva, giving up the material body, in this case indicates simultaneously giving up the material body while receiving a spiritual body. And giving up the material body means all of those karmas that go along with the body. There are examples in which the principles indicated simultaneous actions, as is sitting down and eating, assuming debts and falling from esteem, closing the eyes and laughing, lowering the head and falling asleep. These are all examples. Sridhar Swami says that what is said in this verse is that the bodies of the associates of the Lord are pure, without parabdha karmas, and are eternal. Within this material world, we have a body which is connected with some parabdha karmas. Prabhupada gives the example like pulling out the electrical cord that's plugged in of a fan, and gradually the fan slows down and stops. We have these karmas that we are born with. But when we take diksha, the cord is removed from the electrical current or its connection with this material world, the Shakti of Maya Shakti. That's also a current, that's a power. But that is removed. And one then gets a body which is free from all these prarabdha karmas, previous karmas, and which is identified as eternal. We are the eternal servants of the Lord. So to achieve that spiritual perfection, to recognize our eternality and our eternal relationship with the Lord, happens simultaneously with the giving up of this body. Nirvana means that he had destroyed the karmas like fire burning wood. We put fuel into the fire, but gradually that fire burns up everything. So through devotional service, all our karmas are burnt up. But this means that the prarabdha karmas were not destroyed just now, but previously, for that is accomplished by sadhana. Sadhana removes all our previous karmas, whatever is remaining. Prarabdha means whatever is remaining. No more karmas are being produced when one engages in devotional service and is under the guidance of the spiritual master. No more karmas are being produced because now you're engaged in devotional practices, but there is some lingering karmas. Prarabdha means lingering karmas, just like the fan. It's no longer has any energy to it, but it's in motion. So there are some karmas that are in motion. That is called prarabdha karmas. But they do not remain with devotees who have developed prema bhakti. Gradually they are destroyed by sadhana, and especially when prema bhakti manifests, they are completely destroyed. For those practicing pure bhakti, destruction of prarabdha karma takes place during one's sadhana practice or sadhana bhakti. It will be said in the story of Priyavrat, such power is not surprising for persons who have conquered the six senses by the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, since even an outcast becomes immediately free of the bondage of karma by chanting the Lord's name once. Here is the meaning of this verse. This is not so amazing for such a type of person. What should be amazing? Even an outcast, vidura vigataha, who chants the name of the Lord once, now at the time of accepting the name, gives up his body. Since we do not see anyone giving up their body simultaneously while chanting, body here means his prarabdha karmas, which are being experienced in the present body. They are being burned away, like the fuel that is fed to the fire. They are being burned away. Others say that by the association of bhakti, like a touchstone, the body, which is made up of three gunas, becomes free of the gunas, as seen in the case of Dhruv Maharaj. Thus, giving up the body means giving up the body of the three gunas. That is, that sometimes, even while in the present body, one can become transcendently situated. That is the other meaning here. That transcending the three gunas above the gunas of Tama and Rajas and Sattva, there is the pure state of prema, where the living being lives in that state of prema or pure love of Godhead. So in that state, he's no longer governed by the lower modes. So this also can mean giving up the body. That even though he is in the present body, he is no longer identified with the modes of nature nor under their influence. He's free, therefore, of the prarabdha karmas, and he lives in a transcendental state. So, such a person is a saint or a siddha. He achieves spiritual perfection, and thus even while in this present body, he is able to associate with the Lord. He can enter into regions within his, because of his deep love for Krishna, enter into pastimes, even while what appears to be a material body. Thus, giving up the body means giving up the body made up of the three gunas. This will be explained also later at the beginning of the rasa dance with Jahur Guna Mayam Deham Sadhya Prakshina Bandhanaha. Free of bondage, those gopis abandon their gross material bodies made of gunas. This is in reference to some of the gopis who were still not yet spiritually perfect. There are those who are nitya, eternally perfect, and then there are those who are sadhana perfect by their practice. So at this particular time, when Krishna is manifested on the earth, there are those who are eternally his associates, and there are those who have risen to that state by which now, in association with Krishna and the pure gopis and Braj and like that, they achieve their spiritual perfection. And thus here it is described, free of bondage, now they abandoned their gross material bodies made up of guna and entered into the rasa lila. They were able to dance with Krishna because this took place in the earthly realm when Krishna was manifest here. That's the description being given here. But there are still others who say that sometimes the Lord shows devotees literally giving up their bodies in order that the opinion of others not be negated. Thus Narada, who had developed prema already, gave up his body. So there are different circumstances and therefore different opinions in accordance with those circumstances. However, it should be understood that he had already destroyed his prarabdha karmas through his practice of bhakti. And Rupa Goswami states, the Vedas declare that although meditation on impersonal Brahman cannot bring freedom from past karma, O holy name, your appearance at once makes all prarabdha karmas disappear. This is from a writing of Rupa Goswami in the Nam Astakam, 8 prayers glorifying the holy name, that there are those who practice impersonal meditation, but they cannot become free from their past karmas. But by the power of the holy name, that name which is identified with you, O Krishna, at once all prarabdha karmas disappear by chanting that Nam. If the intended meaning was when Narada's prarabdha karmas were destroyed, his body fell away, the phrase would be expressed in a different way. But the grammatical structure is not used in that way. Thus, the meaning is a general statement. For the devotees, the body which has had its prarabdha karmas destroyed will fall away. So in the course of time, then the living being achieves his spiritual perfection by his practice, and the material body will fade away. We'll just give a little glimpse into the next verse. It says, at the end of the kalpa, when Brahma withdrew the universe with his breathing, I entered into Brahma, who desired to sleep in Narayan, who was lying in the water of the only ocean, that ocean that he was resting upon. So we'll pick it up there. Now, Narada is awakening into a state in which he is identified with Brahma as the son of Brahma, because he has given a service to spread the glories of bhakti. That is the service that was awarded to Narada, and we'll hear more about that in our next reading. Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.